And as Nigeria's democracy clocks a quarter century today, there are mixed reactions on the achievements so far. Senior political reporter Ademola Lawrence in this report takes a look at Nigeria's journey of unbroken democracy.
Nigeria has remained one indivisible nation despite the unforeseen forces unleashed by conflicting ethno-religious challenges is certainly something to cheer. Whatever its many imperfections, its trajectory is far more preferred to military dictatorship.
The country has a natural endowment that we can tap into and export.
One thing we should not do is to just focus on sell off our assets.
That many amendments made in 1999 Constitution till it came into effect this day 25 years ago have combined to make Nigeria more federal. There are more items in the concurrent list in our Constitution today in 1999. The quality and integrity of our national elections have also improved remarkably, culminating in a peaceful election transition between the two different parties for the first time in our history in 2015.
Muhammadu Buhari of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Beyond this, there have also been modest improvement in socio-economic development too. Nigeria's economy is today the largest economy in Africa, with a GDP well over above $400 billion. Economic sectors like the creative industry, banking, telecoms and digital economy have grown remarkably over the past 25 years, even if it's still lopsided nationally. Access to education, particularly higher education, has likewise expanded considerably from less than 40 universities in 1999, for example, to more than 170 today, even though the quality of degrees and other certificates churned out annually remains serious concern. From former President Olusegun Obasanjo's Economic Empowerment Program lifted straight out of the World Bank Poverty Alleviation Strategy document to current President Tinubu's remove subsidy from everything policy, the role of Nigeria's state in economic management has not been encouraging enough to leave the poor out of poverty. But after 25 years of democratic governance, has Nigeria felt the dividends of democracy? Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
And for more on key activities to mark the 1 year of President Bola Tinubu's administration, CEO Lead Network Chukwuma Kenwa joins me now on the news. Good to have you join us. So reactions.
Thank you so much.
All right, reactions have continued to trail this new decision of the not just the legislature but also the executive, because the president assented to it, to change from now the old national anthem to the previous anthem we had before. Some are for it, some are against it, but let me get your thoughts on it.
Well, I think I'm one of the Nigerians that celebrate that idea so well because, in my opinion, the old national anthem seems to reflect more of our reality. And to add to that, like already 9 years ago, there was a project we did, a musical project about the old national anthem to educate the Gen Zs that Nigeria once had an old national anthem. But 5 things why I think this anthem is very striking. In the first stanza, it reflects and tends to address some major challenges we have as a country. You know, most Nigerians are first of all from their tribe before as Nigerians. The first stanza identifies Nigeria as our native land. And that though we differ by tribes and tongues, in brotherhood we stand. So no longer like compatriots, but this time around as brothers. And I think if we can build that consciousness of having Nigeria as native land, before maybe one could say, I'm Nigerian first before I'm Igbo or Yoruba, I think we need to enhance that consciousness. Secondly, in the second stanza, when you look at that anthem, it also tends to create 2 national consciousness that it lacks in our nation, and that is patriotism and posterity. It said, our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this will count as gain. To hand on to our children a banner without stain. That is posterity for me. When Nigerians can begin to really handle every affairs, you're a civil servant, you're a politician, with the consciousness that the future we can only brag of is the one that we conscientiously hand over to the next generation. And the third stanza is the best for me. It reflects our current realities as a nation. And that is the fact that we need a God of creation to help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. Mark that line. Where no man is oppressed. And so, in peace and plenty, Nigeria shall truly be blessed. So when you have a nation where there is no oppression, and there is plenty, and there is prosperity for all, I mean, that's ideally. So when you look at the old national anthem compared to, or the new one, it's actually the new now. The old has become the new, and the new has become the old, right? So when you put both side by side, you can agree with Mr. President that perhaps this is what we need at this point to awaken the consciousness in posterity, in patriotism, in brotherhood, in nativity as a nation, and also in disregarding the issue of oppression as a people.
Mr. Kenwa, I wish we could explore this further on other issues, but I'm being told that the time is up. Thank you so much for your time. CEO Lead Network, Chukwuma Kenwa, thank you for talking to us.